Discount Podcast.
Welcome in, you cheap beggars, to Discount, the bargain bin gaming podcast hosted by three hosts so cheap that they're now living on ramen after pre-ordering all the games in the showcases this month.
Not even after pre-order, man.
No, just in general. Just
economy,
general.
right?
That's not just being cheap, that's just surviving.
Yeah.
That's life. I am Josh, I'm one of your hosts, and plugging into Player 2 is...
I'm Darren, hello. And watching all three showcases, IGN Live and Summer Games Fest, all at once on multiple monitors, like she's the FBI.
I am the FBI, hello. No, it's Karen, sorry.
She almost got us. She almost had us.
Listen, this is a really bad time to tell you that's why I'm here. It's the only reason we're married. There's an open investigation into you.
I thought you were going to make you're a female body inspector joke or something like that.
Oh, damn it! I am a female body inspector.
Fit bitch in the house.
Hey!
Yeah,
That's
I like
FBITH. That's fifth.
No, you don't have to,
Fibith.
just the point was made, and it was a valid point.
And it was a correct point.
Absolutely,
yes.
it
By
was.
female body inspector, are you inspecting bodies as a female, or are you inspecting female bodies specifically?
Both.
Inspector, I hardly know her.
Thank you, Darren.
Listen,
That's okay.
as an openly, I'm a bisexual woman. I do both.
I mean, and this is coming out in June, so it's the right time to say
Pride
it.
Month.
Yes.
Let me inspect all the bodies.
Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the podcast.
Perfect. So we are here in June, in Pride Month, in Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
In the month of June. I couldn't think of a third thing that happens in June. What else happens in June?
It's just a really gay, happy month.
Well, what else happens in June is a million fucking showcases.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
what else
boy.
says. This month we have found there's been a hole from E3 and everyone went, let's fill that hole because it's Pride. And
Yep.
yeah,
Bravo.
had to be done, thank
Nice,
you.
nice.
So we had Summer Games Fest, which was like 4 hours in length because they had Day of the Devs, which is a brilliant name
Yeah.
for with the devs afterwards. They also had the IGN 3-day spectacular, which really was them trying to do E3.
Yeah.
And like E3, no one turned up to it.
I always like Summer Games Fest as like a faux replacement for E3 because it has no structure and no like sense to it. It's just Jeff Keighley standing on the stage and he goes, and another game, and another game.
Hey, there's this person you liked last time. We brought her back to do another game. She goes, yeah, I like that game. Here's another game. You go, oh, brilliant. And you go, now we've got our Japanese counterparts to come in and talk
It's
about
like,
their
oh,
game.
here's the people who made Persona. You're like, oh, fuck Persona.
Yes.
What's happening?
And that's pretty much how that went. But yeah, we're not even going to look at much of the news this month because there hasn't been a lot. There's been no studios cut down or anything like that. We did get the best reviewed ever DLC. It's just beaten The Witcher Blood and Stone with the Shadow of the Erd Tree, and then it's now got very much mixed reviews from people, but there's not really much in the way of news, just a million directs. We had PlayStation with their State of Play, I think at the very end of May, if we're being honest, it wasn't June. Then we had Xboxes, and then we had Nintendos. And we're going to go have a little look at our favourite games from each of those.
Yeah.
And just say whether was it a good or bad direct, really. And I think we can safely say at the beginning, I don't think any of them were bad.
I think they're all good.
No, I thought there was
Yeah.
something. There was something in each of them that someone would find interesting.
Yeah,
for
100%.
sure.
I don't think there was anything that was bad. The only bad ones, in my opinion, were the VR titles on the PlayStation 1, but that's just me being picky.
That's fair. I thought they looked all right, but because of the nature of not owning the VR2, they sort of glaze a bit. But I
Yeah.
thought they looked fun.
It felt like, hey, we've got a couple of extra VR titles. We're trying to get rid of this bit of kit. Let's just kick them out the door.
Like a guy in the alley with a trench coat. Hey, do you remember VR? Opens coat.
And you're like, put away your dick.
Yeah.
As is
Got a
the
little
case with
VR
You
helmet
can
on.
get VR for that.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we've got a MetaQuest. Anyway, so we will start off with the first one, which is Sony State of Play, which had a nice selection, big collection of games there. I'm sure there's lots there we want to talk about, but we're going to focus on three. We're going to talk about our favourite ones. We're going to start with Cerys' preferred game of the showcase, because it's also mine and Darren.
Yeah.
It's the best game.
It's the best game of the showcase. What was the best game of the showcase for you then, Cerys? Astrobot.
Oh my god. No. I love Astrobot. I think he is the cutest little fucking bean in the whole world. I love him. I love the games. I love Astrobot. I love Astrobot, okay?
I mean, it was one of those things that I think people were like, is there going to be an Astrobot coming? Is there not going to be an Astrobot coming? And when it came, everyone was like, oh my god, it's Astrobot.
Yeah.
Literally, when you watch it live on YouTube, you have the comments up, and it's a fucking cesspool. If we're being honest,
Everyone hates everything.
Every one of the worst people, but not much in the way of negativity. Put my teeth back in. I was so shocked I lost all my teeth.
Yes.
Negativity in regards to this game. Everyone was like, yes, more Astrobot. And let's be honest, it's like 170 cameos are going to be in this. It's longer than the most recent one, I think is what they've said. This is going to be like a 30-hour... No, it's not 30
It's
hours.
4 times longer than Playroom minimum.
Oh, wow.
So that would imply it's probably somewhere around the 20-hour mark, I guess.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And at no point does it look boring. Like,
I mean, the thing is, I don't think anybody would be expecting, like, an Astrobot that's, like, Elden Ring size.
It's Red Dead Redemption size. You've got 200 hours of screwing around.
Like, oh, you want to play Astrobot? You have an extra, like, 70, 100 gigs. Sit down with
That's actually
Astrobot.
one of the cameos in the entirety of Red Dead 2 is just in the middle of Astro.
They've actually just gone. Oh, if we can't have anything specific for Call of Duty for PlayStation, we're just going to stick it in in the middle. So here's a 300 gig game. It's just got a multiplayer.
Nice.
Mind you, if there was an Astrobot multiplayer, like 5v5 capture the flag, I would play
It's
that.
the new
cool.
factions.
Yeah,
And you build
yeah.
a little camp of Astrobots.
Oh man, I mean they
my
tried to do it
God.
with Sackboy because if we're being honest, Astrobot is Sackboy
Yeah.
without his clothes on.
Absolutely, because I used to feel that...
Puts his little coat on.
But he's got a zip down the back. It was when
yeah.
Astrobot was cold, he was
Yeah.
Sackboy, and now he's warm.
Yeah.
He's out
I
and
get
about.
that, and to be fair, I had the same feelings about Sackboy because I used to love Sackboy.
He's
He
great.
was so cute.
But honestly, it was the game that I think saved the showcase. Like there were a lot of people going, "Oh, it's not great, it's not great," and then this came on and I went, "This is the big one." It was the last one they presented as well, and it's coming out in September this year.
Yeah.
It proves the undeniable truth of gaming is that everyone loves a fucking platformer.
They do.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a
I
platformer.
love a platformer. There's
Yeah.
something like really satisfying about a platformer. Really satisfying. And I think that's why I loved, like, as a kid, I loved Spyro, I loved Crash, and like they were the first like games I got into really were platformers.
Quite every Mario game
Yeah.
sells fucking billion copies.
Yeah, because it's just fun.
It's just fun.
It's just
Platforms
fun.
are just
It
nice.
doesn't need to be serious. It's just fun.
And everything about it looks nice as well. It just looks. And I was saying when we were watching it, like you could feel how everything was going to react in the controller.
Yeah.
And that's what they do so well is they actually make use of the technology.
I loved that about the first game because that was obviously like the first game I played on the PS5 after we got it, and it was like a whole new, like this is a totally new experience.
And you didn't dare close your
Totally.
eyes
But
because it was a whole new world.
Yeah.
oh, get it!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
You have to, you fall
Happy
off that
Pride
magic carpet.
Month, everyone. That was the gayest thing you've ever said.
So yeah, Astrobot looked great. I mean, as you said, everyone loves a platformer. But really, that was the only platformer in there. Most of the games were like shooty, good fun time. The game, but I don't think either of us are focusing on shooty, good fun time. The game. We've gone in a different direction with Chinese Fight the People games.
Chinese Fight the People
So do you want to
games.
go with your first Chinese Fight the People games, Darren?
I will. I will give a very short honorable mention to Monster Hunter because it looks incredible and I love a fucking Monster Hunter.
But as you said, we were all expecting it. So if
It
you
didn't
might
show
want
much
something-
new. It just showed that it's Monster Hunter, and I'm like, hell yeah. What I wasn't expecting was fucking Dynasty Warriors.
No, they've been quiet. Like I said, I haven't thought of them since Hyrule Warriors. That was the last time I thought
They've
of
been doing
them.
a lot of like licensed stuff. Like they did Hyrule Warriors, they did Persona Strikers. I think they did a couple One Piece ones.
Yep.
But the last Dynasty Warriors game didn't get received very well because they changed up the entire way it worked. I haven't played
Idiots.
it. I don't know.
People don't like change.
People don't like change.
Not in China, by the sound
No.
of things, no.
We're a cashless society now. But it just looked like Dynasty Warriors, but bigger. It looked like the one thing everyone has always wanted, which is Dynasty Warriors, but instead of there being small groups of like 30 people, there's just 500 people directly in front of you, and you can just go hit, and they
Yes.
all fly off.
When you see it, you go, oh, this is giving like real Total War vibes. Like, look at the hundreds of people running at each other, but oh wait, you're a big motherfucker on a horse, and you just swip through them all.
It's like the moment it starts introducing it, you're like, okay, this is sort of Dynasty Warriors, okay, we're into it. And then there's a shot of like your main character on a horse riding with like 1,000 people in front of him. And I'm like 10 again.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking swing and hit.
Honestly, I haven't enjoyed a Dynasty Warriors since Dynasty Warriors 4, and that's PS2 era.
Yeah.
That was the last time I was like, I really like that. Because like 5 became, was it Empires or something? And then it was starting trying to go, we're going to do tactics in here as well.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want tactics in these games. I want to run in, smash the fuck out of everyone and go, I'm the biggest boy in the room. And then a bigger boy shows up and starts beating me up.
Yeah.
That's how I want it to go.
To be honest, this is kind of like the first time I've looked at one of those games. I think when I was growing up and had like the PS2 and everything, I just kind of like, I didn't know what it was, so I never really looked at it.
Really easy to miss them, though. I mean, I think it was a very niche group of people that enjoy the Dynasty Warrior game, so it's very easy to pass people by. So
There's something very satisfying, like poorly satisfying about Dynasty Warriors game, though, of just running into the middle of like 50 people and you just mash square until they fall over.
Yep.
It's awesome.
And then you get your, was it Mulu?
Muso attack.
Muso attack, that's what it was, yeah, and you just beat the shit out of them doing like a weird spinning like headstand because you
It's awesome.
yeah, you have a spinning headstand because you've got a spear beneath you, so you just sort of like propeller your way round and knock everyone down.
As someone who did martial arts for a long time, I can tell you that's actually one of the first moves you learn as a white belt.
First move, wow, what's the second move?
You do it, but you do it in the air.
Oh
Nice.
wow, I mean that's how you finish it off, so that makes sense.
And the third move is the normal swing.
Yeah,
It's a really weird way.
After that, it's a low block. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains. Yeah, I never block.
Yeah.
Don't need to.
Didn't make
Just
it to that
smashing
There's
the fuck
just
out
no
of them.
point in learning a low block if you can't spin in the air, you know.
You want to look cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the other Asian fighting game that I was interested in is Ballad of Antara, which I had heard nothing about before I came to this. I still don't know a huge amount about it, but it is a massive open world action RPG set in an Asian inspired world with multiple main characters, and it's free to play.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? Like,
It very much strikes me as Genshin Impact for the Souls fan.
which makes sense. Because I hadn't been able to put two and two together. Like, how is this going to work? Like, an action RPG in my head is a solo adventure. You're just off to do your own thing, and then this goes, it's free to play. I was like, oh, how are they gonna like make money out of this? Are people gonna be paying for cosmetics? Because if that's the case, sign me up, because there is no reason for me not to play this game because it is free. You know,
I think it's gonna have a Genshin Impact thing where it's like you pay to roll for characters.
right?
So they'll release like a new version of character A with a new range of attacks, and maybe they're like elemental themed or they're a certain theme.
Oh, that's fun.
And
Okay.
you try and roll for them. It's essentially
Right.
like Overwatch skins, but they actually have new abilities attached to them. And they'll release 20 of them every 3 months.
Oh,
And
perfect.
people will spend fucking billions trying to get them all.
That makes sense. I mean, I get that, and if I can play the base game, just go through it for a free action style game. Hopefully, there's a platinum attached to it. I'll have a lovely time. That's the way I look at it. But those are the sort of the three I wouldn't say standouts, but they're ones that we're seeming excited for.
Yeah.
There was a lot in there that felt like, hey, we're doing Overwatch clones. There was a lot of Until Dawn got brought up, which looked fun. There was a lot of PC ports. And
There
there was
was whatever the fuck Infinity Nikki is.
Infinity Nikki. Now, this is a really weird game. It's basically dress up the game. You're going an open world RPG open world game where you just dress up. And apparently, it's a massive game series on the mobile
It's a mobile
game.
series, yeah.
And they look like they've put so much money into
But it's
this
like a
game.
dress-up photography thing.
Oh, okay.
It's very, like, girly girl game. But I can't deny that I was watching it, and I've, like, a little bit in the back of my brain went, this is kind of fun.
Everything about it, I was like, who is this for? Then I thought, girls. This is
I
for
was gonna
like.
say you said dress up and photography, and my little Barbie brain went,
Yes.
Like, as much as that is the case, I couldn't deny that it looked kind of fun.
Yep.
That's because you have a nice little Barbie brain.
I do.
It sounds
really
like
do.
the exact opposite of everything Karis' dad would enjoy in gaming.
Yeah.
He hates putting on new armor in Destiny. I go into his game and I just make all the shaders look the same because I think make his character look nice, and he's like, no, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just functionality for me.
Yeah.
It's just opposite of that
He
game.
never understood like when I used to play The Sims, because he was just like, but what do you do? And I was like, well, you create them and then you dress them and then they live like humans. And he was like, well, that's not, how is that fun?
It's the classic joke of you spend like hours designing your Dark Souls character and then go,
Helmet.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, think about it. This is Sims for a modern age. That's the way I'm looking at it, because like Sims used to be, let's make a house, like you're going to be like a housekeeper. It sounds awful, but that's what it was. It was like, and now it's like, we're going to be influencers, so make your outfits, take some good photos. So it's that sort of
it's
development.
Harvest Moon without the farming.
Perfect. But yes, should we move on to the next showcase, which
do it.
was
Yeah.
Xbox Showcase, because that's what they call themselves, the Showcase. They're the only ones that use Showcase, which they all are. And if we're being honest, this is
The
a
biggest one.
nostalgia-dripping Xbox 360 pandering showcase that worked on me.
This struck me as someone was going, like a janitor was going around the Microsoft studio and opened a door and all of their old IPs are behind it and they went, oh fuck, that's where they've been. Make those.
It was very much that. It was like someone did a picture of like, oh wait, you woke up in 2011 again, and it was like, wake up. It's literally Fable came out, Gears of War came out. What's the other one? Zero Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark. I always keep saying Zero Dark.
Everyone's favourite N64 game. It wasn't GoldenEye.
Yep, that's what I mean. Age of Mythology was like a classic sort of one. It was
New Flight Simulator.
A New Flight Simulator. They had State of Decay.
Yeah.
All of these classic things that are theirs all showed up, and the whole way through it was like, I remember that. I remember this. I remember it. And I remember it was very much that.
Sorry, I just you can cut this if you need to.
We will
on
do.
YouTube, but like for some reason when you said 2011, my dyscalculia really kicked in, and I thought you said 2001, and then immediately you said Flight Simulator. And I was like, my god,
that probably did exist in 2001, and they probably had to remove some buildings.
Yes. You don't have to. That was the problem. They didn't have to remove those buildings.
There's a great reel that my mate sent me where there's someone in a flight simulator and they go past the towers and you can just hear him saying, "Be strong, brothers! Be strong, brothers!"
Oh man,
But,
YouTube.
The problem I had with bits of this showcase was I would get excited for a concept and then see who was making it and be like,
oh, interesting. That's fair.
Yeah, the one I had it mainly for was this won't be my game anyway, so we'll talk very brief about it. It's the game Atomfall.
Yes, yeah.
Which is like knockoff Fallout, but set in the north of England.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's made by Rebellion, who make Sniper Elite.
Yeah.
And their games are notoriously a bit janky.
Yep.
And I don't know if I trust them to make a full RPG survival game.
There's a lot of games like that where I'm like, this looks really interesting. I'm like, where's this developer from? I'm like, oh, right, they just moved them into this game. Why have they done that?
As much as I think Obsidian are a fucking great studio, I think their games are like good. They never like properly endear me.
It's for me. They're like, here's a charming mess, and you're like, yep, I'll enjoy a charming mess.
I think that Avowed looks cool.
Yep.
But I don't know how it's going to hit.
That's
because
fair.
people still think of them as New Vegas, but they made Outer Worlds, which was good if not great.
Yes.
So this will probably also be
good
if not great.
I got a lot. Avowed gives me a lot of. What's the one that was free to play not so long ago?
You're gonna have to help me out. There's a lot of free play games.
It was 8. Oh, no, I can't remember what it's called. Where you had like 3 different colors. You were shooting lasers. We talked about it on the podcast. So I can't remember what it was. But it gave me vibes of that, and I cannot remember the name. I want to say Infinitum, which is definitely nothing.
Infinitum.
Which is nothing. It's nothing. I can't remember.
I feel like I know what you mean, but I can't
remember what it is.
I would look it up, but I feel like if I googled what you just said,
Infinitum.
what would come up? What would happen?
That's fine. We'll move on to the games that we are excited for.
Yeah.
So who did I have down first to talk about this? I think Darren's who I've got top of this list.
I looked at all of the nostalgia options in play and all of the big budget games and went, nah, fuck that. How about Cute Mouse Home Builder?
Yeah, you did.
My genuine favourite game of the showcase was Winter Burrow, which is a game about a tiny city mouse who returns home to the woods, and it's fucking cold.
It looks amazing. I just love the visual style of this game more than anything else. I've remembered the name of the game now. It's Immortals: Age of Avium. Which is why I had that Imivium. I was like, I pushed everything to there.
Imivium isn't even a name. It's not even a word.
Oh yes,
you're getting closer to Imodium, and that's
Nivea, the game.
Yes, that was it. It was all about keeping your skin supple.
But I watched some of this and I was like, it's giving me real Don't Starve vibes.
I think that is. I hadn't even thought about it till you said it, because Don't Starve is such a macabre-looking game.
Yeah.
It's so like dark and like Burton-esque.
Don't Starve is a game I think about once every year, and I give it a go and remember it's fucking brutal, and then don't play it again.
I think this is going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be as light-hearted as they've made this look.
It was just like, you go out and you collect, twigs and stones to improve things. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
You make little leaf boots.
You make little leaf boots.
Yeah.
It's just so nice how you can just like build up your little base, but it's a little tree stump.
I do get what you mean though, because the overall vibe I got from that was this is really cute, but also I just think it's going to be really sad.
The trailer ends with your mate
Yeah.
getting abducted by an owl.
Yeah.
I think that is pretty sad.
It was like, oh my god, this is so cute, this is so cozy, this is so nice. Oh, fuck me.
Hedwig, no!
and like she's saying all this stuff like, oh, the bridge to her house is broken, so I can't even go and ask you what's going on. And it's like, this is This is gonna get dark.
It's real, like, eternal winter vibes. Something is
Yeah.
wrong with the balance of nature.
Yeah. Looks cute though.
Yeah, and I want to put little leaf boots on my mouse and help them find out what that is.
Yeah.
It does look really cute. I really look forward to playing it. I'm just going to be interested to see how it comes out. If it's like a day one on Game Pass, I will be all over that game.
100%.
But we'll see how it comes
Yeah.
out. The next one we're going to talk about is one that I've liked the look of. And it's one that I think I might have said was my most anticipated game for the year.
Did. Yeah.
And it's Stalker 2, Hearts of Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Fuck me, this game looks good.
It looks cool.
It is. What's interesting is this is obviously, I think it's not even the second, I think it's the third game technically in the series because they've got a bit more there. But they were like PC indie game Stalker. It wasn't like a big hit. It never was this thing, but it
Yeah.
was like a real hardcore sort of survival for like horror game, I would call it, because it is real dark. And this one looks like they've really upped the scale on it.
Yeah.
There is nothing I can say apart from this looks like a Metro game, but for more people.
It does. It looks like the first one got really popular.
Yep.
And then Microsoft walked over with like a blank check and went, "Make it again,
Yes,
but
yeah.
better."
I get that. It does feel like they potentially have just gone, let's remake the first one for a bigger
But also,
audience.
there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Like, don't fix what ain't broke.
no, I get that entirely, and I do think that is pretty much what this feels like, is this big open world where you're trying to survive in the aftermath of a Chernobyl-like explosion.
Yeah.
And it's just you out in the wilds against people, mutants, the wildlife, invisible foes.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to like, you got the Geiger counter out there, you're busy trying to work out where's safe, what's not. They haven't given anything away of what the actual story is, but in my head, I think it's pretty much going to be survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A classic
Yeah.
shit's fuck Geo game.
I really like. I think I could be wrong. I'll have to ask him. I think Stalker was a game that my dad actually played on the PC when it first came around, and I just remember the cover of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those ones that kind of passed me, and I think my dad played it and enjoyed it. But the trailer for this, I was really intrigued by, because when I first saw it, because my dad has played it, or someone has played it, I'm sure it's my dad, I kind of just like passed it off as almost like a Call of Duty kind of like kind of thing. What really intrigued me about this is, and I think it's because it's also Ukrainian.
Yeah.
It has that like element of creepy reality to it, because obviously you know what Ukraine is going through at the moment, but also there are parts of this that I was like, there's lots of like wandering around with a flashlight, and I was like, oh, this is giving me like vibes that I would want to play this like I did with other creepy games where you've got the headphones on with the lights off, and you're like, it's got some really creepy elements to it that I found really, really intriguing, and I didn't expect that.
It's been delayed quite a bit since its inception, and then obviously the invasion of Ukraine delayed it further. And so much so they've actually changed and gone back and changed all their names from Chernobyl to Chornobyl, which is the Ukrainian way of basically going, hey, fuck you, Russia, which is interesting in itself. I mean, it's been so long in the making. I think it's 15 years since Call of Pripyat, which is the other one. This is actually the fourth game. I didn't realize it was the fourth game in the series. I thought it was the third, but it's the fourth game in the series. It's confusing because it's Stalker 2. But yeah, it just looks like it's going to be really appealing to certain people. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
I bring up the Ukraine thing only because I think it comes with a sense of that trailer I found really gritty, and I think it's a kind of grit that if it had been made by a different country, like for example Britain, where we know that's not happening, it wouldn't have had that sense of
would have
like
been
real
Atomfall.
grit,
Yeah, it would have
and
been
like
Atomfall.
I think it adds something to it.
It does feel just desolate, and I think I love that in a post-apocalyptic survival game. So very excited. The other game we've got is Cerys' choice from the Xbox Showcase, which is, I believe, Doom: The Dark Ages.
Listen now, boys and girls. Right, let me tell you. Okay, I am a big advocate of the original Doom, okay? I love that game so much because it's so stupid, right? I just love it. But I haven't been massively won over by the more recent Dooms.
I think the 2016 remake was a good outcome.
Yeah.
I think what's the X one called?
Eternal
Eternal wasn't.
And this is my fault really, because I haven't given 2016 a good go. I gave Eternal a go. Didn't really like the vibe of it, if I'm perfectly honest. However, right, this trailer being Doom, but with medieval shit and dragon shit, and it just looks cool. It's such a cool concept, and I can't. If I could show you the trailer right now and be like, just watch it. Yeah.
You'd be like, each bit's cool.
Each bit is cool.
How do you really feel, though?
Yeah.
It does feel like the inside of a 11-year-old kid's brain in, 2003 we were saying, or something like that?
There's a bit at the end where he's got this big dragon suit on and he's fighting this monster and he holds the fucking monster's mouth open and he's got this like Godzilla nuclear fucking in this thing's mouth.
I think it's fire.
Oh, well, okay, but it looked Godzilla.
Yeah, it looked pretty sick, didn't it? Straight fire.
I was like, this is so fucking cool. What the fuck?
Honestly, it does feel. It feels like it could be straight from the mind of Zack Snyder. Like, this would be fucking awesome. This would be, that sort of vibe.
Bad guys and explosions and medieval shit.
Looks like, you said it comes from the mind of an 11-year-old. It is the era I think of when I was 11, which is like 07, 08 time, of like the shit that would come out at that time.
The worst bit is I said when I was 11, which was 2003. So we were both in the same vibe, just different years.
Yeah, but like...
2002 we were 11.
You were.
You are literally 3 months older than me. Younger than me. Oh.
Yeah,
but
not just that.
It is very, like, of that time. I likened it to, there was an old PS3 game called Legendary, which was just people fighting mythical creatures in London. And it gave me that vibe of just dumb myth shit.
It's got that sort of, was it Darksiders, or, it's that sort of
era.
And I don't know, I'll fuck with it. It sounds like a good, fun game.
My problem with Eternal is that Doom 2016 benefited from being a real back-to-basics shooter, and then Eternal did the same thing again, which isn't as good when you've already done it.
But they weren't even just doing that. Their big focus was, hey, we've got these multiplayer maps you can all make, because it'd be really fun to do these. And you're like, just give me a full-fledged game, and this looks far more open.
It looks like it's got more ideas, which is what Eternal needed, in my opinion.
Definitely.
It needs to do something, and this is doing something.
And then this also had Gears in it, it had Fable in it, it had it's just
Age of Mythology.
Good fun stuff. But let's move on to the cheery, happy direct of Nintendo, which was the last one we saw.
Yeah.
And it's me going first this time.
Yeah.
I was very torn between two games here.
Yeah.
But we'll go with The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, just because I feel like if we didn't talk about this after the direct, we didn't watch the direct. You have to mention this one because it's the first Zelda game in a while I think I'm actually looking forward to.
What a precious little game.
It just looks delightful. It's the same style as Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
But this one is Zelda focused.
Yeah.
And it's about time. It looks simpler than other Zelda games, which is a good thing. I've been discussing with a couple of people. I think it's a good thing. It's a way for people to get into the series. I feel like, yes, it's aiming for a younger audience. It's looking for but it's just what you want, really.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how its main gameplay gimmick works.
Yeah.
I like it conceptually. I'm not sure how well it will persist over the length of a full game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the main gimmick of this.
No, I'm not. Yeah, you know what I'm like with Zelda. I'm not.
So she has like this wand.
Yeah.
And can basically create echoes of items. It's like fixed items in the world.
Yeah.
So the example they use in the trailer is there is a table outside of like, I think a cell she's been trapped in.
Yeah.
And you scan that and then you can make echoes of tables.
So you can basically make...
So if you need to get up a ledge, you build a staircase out of tables.
Yeah.
And you go up and you use that to resolve the puzzles. You get different items you go. And then when you defeat enemies, you can then create echoes of enemies to fight for you.
Right.
So it's a lot of like using the tools you have acquired to find a way through the puzzle. It's very like old school. The game I liken it to is the game Scribblenauts. I don't know if anybody knows this.
Yeah.
That was a game that was basically like the puzzle would be get a cat out of a tree and you have the entire dictionary at your disposal to get that cat out of the tree however you fucking
So you just
like.
type the word in and it present that sort of...
You throw up a rope and lasso it, you build a ladder, you burn the tree down, you chainsaw it, you make a stack of clowns who get the... It's like that.
Get a tsunami just to take everything out.
Yeah, like you have table, chair, like tree, and it's like, I need to get from here to there with the things I have.
It does genuinely feel that it might be a bit too simple, but we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah.
It looks cute. It looks something new. I'm happy they're trying to do something different with the Zelda franchise because I wasn't a big fan of the direction they've taken it.
Yeah.
So this is a nice way for it to harken back to something a bit more classic, but with a little twist to it, which is quite nice. Talking of a nice, cozy feeling sort of game, Cerys.
Oh my god. I don't think I've ever been so excited for anything in my life.
Shout to your wedding.
There is, this comes second fiddle. Sorry, Josh.
I mean, that is what they were playing in the game, so that makes sense. Yep.
This is
Tales of the Shire.
Tales of the Shire, yeah. I was going to say Return to the Shire, I don't know why. But it is essentially like a little cozy game where you get to be a hobbit and live in the Shire and have your little friends with neighbours and like decorate your little Shire hole and
Hobbit
like
hole, yep.
yeah, and then like I just love the idea of being a hobbit. I love it.
It's funny we were talking about Sims earlier. Now you're like, hey, how about Hobbit Sims? You're like, yes.
But
It's very
on
sweet.
The
Hobbit Disney Dreamlight
other
Valley.
hand, who doesn't want Hobbit Sims?
Exactly.
It does seem really nice. It's cozy. I've been looking forward to this coming out because they've given like little hints
It's
here and
pleasant.
there. It just looks like the sort of, as you said, we've got our Disney Dreamlight Valleys, which, you know, they're busy pumping out content and you're paying more. And whilst this feels like, here's a self-contained game which you can have a lovely time in. It's your Animal Crossing. It's that vibe, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
cozy
I tell you
life
what
sim.
it is. The difference between I think this and Disney Dreamlight Valley is that like I love Disney, but it runs its course very, very quickly because as I'm sure with all cozy games, it does get quite repetitive. It does, but also I feel like Disney Dreamlight has almost tried to do too much in a way when you play it. It's a little bit like, oh, okay, this is a lot. Whereas this, as you said, it feels really small. It feels very cozy. It feels very like, oh, you know, this is...
Until the wraiths arrive.
Oh, can you imagine?
The end of the novels that's different from the film is that they come back to the Shire and it's all been like fucked by all of like Sauron's forces. And I hope that's just how the game ends and they don't advertise it. You
know what?
play your
That'd be
little
sick,
Shire farm for
though.
3 years and then orcs turn up and burn it to the ground and the credits roll.
Can you imagine that they give you things like you start getting like schematics to build like a catapult? And you're like, where the fuck would I need a catapult?
Or
so
like,
you ignore all
You're
these
just
things.
doing your farm and in the background hobbits are running around and like building weapons and
Yeah.
defenses. You're like, huh.
I wonder what's going on.
Do you know what the
That's
thing is
odd.
though? The thing that would like scare me the most is if, you know, you're just doing a bit of gardening, you're having a lovely time, getting second breakfast on the go, and then you see fireworks and you're like, why the fuck is Gandalf here?
Well, Gandalf is in there. They show him
Yeah.
in the clips.
Yeah,
there, so-
but that can only mean bad things. I love Gandalf, but why the fuck are you here?
I now just want like a farming game where the like people you're farming for go to war. I think that'd be a really cool thing where there's just like a full conflict happening in the background and you're just a farmer.
Yeah, that could be that.
Hide the potatoes from the hawks, please.
Yeah.
You might even get like roving bands of like enemy forces coming
Yeah.
and you'll have to hide
They
resources.
raise your fields. You're like, fuck
I do
my
really
crops.
hope there's something to do with potatoes.
We have definitely spent too long working out
Potatoes.
how we make our own game here,
Yeah.
which is a game that no one else is going to
Potatoes.
play.
Discount Studios.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. But talking of directs, there is one game that stood out for most people as like, fuck me, this game's coming. Maybe there's going to be a new console coming. Who knows what's coming? Darren, what game are you excited for?
Guys, Metroid Prime 4 exists.
It does
It's
exist.
real.
Yeah.
It got announced in 2017, very briefly.
Yeah.
And then news came out in 2019 that it had been scrapped and started again. And boy, it exists. And it looks great.
We watched it before we recorded this, and I was like, it feels like classic Doom. I know we were talking about Doom once, but this feels like that sort of
no, it
vibes.
does.
Well, to be fair, you talk about 2003, 2000, like that era. That's when the first Metroid Prime came out, and it's just more of that. Mm-hmm. And it's like nicely tying back into it. Like I don't think I ever finished the third one, but like between the third one and a couple of the spin-off games, the main antagonist implied to be in this one is like. From that, it's another bounty hunter called, I think it's Silex.
Yeah, something
who
like
basically betrayed all the other bounty hunters and stole 2 Metroids and pissed off into the mist. And it looks like this sort of plot has had him come back round with the Metroids now fully grown. He's taken command of the space pirates. He's here to fuck your day up.
Yeah.
But I just fucking love Metroid Prime.
And it is Silex,
It is Silex. Cool. What a fucking memory.
That you pulled that out of nowhere.
I know. But it just... looks like exactly what we wanted. It's like when Dread got announced, and
Yes.
that turned out to be real.
You're like, oh, good, we've got a side-scrolling, old-school Metroid, like, brilliant, and this has gone, hey, did you like those first-person ones? We also have one maybe like that. You're
Everyone's been sitting on it being like, God, I hope it looks good. And then, like, Retro, who made the first ones, are back. They've made another Metroid Prime. It looks exactly how I remember the old ones. I'm like, fuck it, give me more Metroid Prime.
just Metroid.
give me more.
Yeah.
But it's coming out early 25, which is when people are theorizing the new console's going to come around.
It's been eked out that that's potentially when it's coming out by a lot of news and lots of leaks and stuff. So we'll see if it.
We have that and the new Pokemon Legends are now sort of around the same time.
So you feel like they're going to be the people for the new console?
It might be sort of the step up for the new console. But
Well,
we
it'd
don't
be
know.
interesting because I mean, like, PlayStation have basically stopped making PS4 games. Like now is when we're stopping to see PS4. PS4 at the end of its life. I wonder how Nintendo handle going into this new Nintendo Switch too. Whether they just go, "Here's the new games. We're not doing backwards compatible. Buy our new console because you've been buying 1,000 of those."
I wouldn't be surprised if the second Switch just upscales things. Like,
Yeah.
it's got a slightly better resolution and you just put old Switch games in it and it'll, like,
As long as
AI
it's backwards
upscale them.
compatible, that's fine. As long as you
Yeah.
buy the old ones into it,
I
that's
can
what I
chuck
want.
Metroid Prime 4 into it and it just looks a bit
This is where the
crisper.
Switch 2 comes out and it's got another weird way of putting things in. It's no longer like the little cartridges, or it's not a mini disc again. It's something else they've decided is the way to do it. Who knows?
It's shaped like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Disc. The games are cards, you just go, fuck!
Yeah, straight in. Perfect. But yeah, those are the big
Nintendo,
directs.
I hope you're listening.
Big directs. Obviously, the other directs have happened, but we're not going to talk about any of those.
fuck 'em.
And
They're
we're
not
just
real.
going to move into what we've been doing this month, which,
Yeah.
for me, honest, has been a lot of just surviving and making through on big games. I think
It's been a weird month for games.
I think none of us have really been going out for anything new or anything
No.
big.
No.
It's just been sort of stasis games is how I'm looking
Yeah.
at it more than
Yeah.
anything else. Terrace, what have you been playing? We'll start with you.
It's been a weird one because work has been nuts. I've had to work like in school, out of school. I haven't had a lot of time for gaming, to be fair. But I have been playing Fallout 4, which has been really cool. I've enjoyed it a lot. As I said, I haven't played a lot of it. I've only had time to kind of dip in and out of it, but I really like the feel of it. I really like the combat of it. I love the little robot.
Love making
man.
Most Handsome Man and all of...
Oh my god, listen! Oh, right, I forgot about this. I spent so long, guys, I made this man, I made my husband the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. I was like,
Good for you, mate.
this man.
Yeah, it's alright. I've been
not
working
you.
hard. Oh, thanks.
Cool.
Like, I just, to put it bluntly, would have given my entire life just to use him as a chair for like 20 minutes.
And then you'd have scanned him for a memory of it, an echo, and then you could have done a second one of him.
Yeah. Been a whole
and
dining set.
When I tell you, I didn't spend a lot of time on the girl. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna, whatever. This is me. It's fine. I spent so
Kind of
much
fucking bisexual are you?
time. Yeah, true. I'm sorry, I'm letting the gays know.
What's
Shout
foreplay?
I made this man. I spent so much time on him. He was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
And then what happened, Karis?
They fucking shot him.
Yeah.
Like 10
They do
minutes
that.
into the game, and I gasped and I paused it, and Josh was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No."
The best bit is I knew it was happening. I saw her building this character for so long, and I thought, I'm not going to tell her. She can discover...
Gleefully sat there.
Oh, it was
I was
beautiful.
devastated. I was so devastated over this beautiful fictional man. And it took me a while to go back to it after that. I'm not gonna lie.
Did
I
you
was
turn
like,
to her and just be like, that'll fucking teach you to make a new husband?
Oh, I think I was busy playing another game in another room, but I was like, yeah, I'm just going to let her suffer on her own.
Oh, I loved him.
So 4 out of 4 has
Yeah.
been your sort of like just stasis. I think me and Darren have had the same stasis game this month.
Right. We got fucking derailed by one Instagram message.
Yep.
Old host Paul, shout out, sent one message to our Instagram chat and went, I've been playing Red Dead 2 and it's been like fucking great. No spoilers, but it's like really, really good.
Because he's never finished it. He'd never finished the game before.
He played it for the podcast.
and that was all he'd done.
Yeah. And he was talking about how great it was. And I think Josh messaged in and was like, I might start playing Red Dead 2 again. And I'm reading it, I go, I might start playing fucking Red Dead 2. So we've been playing Red Dead 2 all month.
All month. The problem is, like, we've been looking at the trophies we've got. So me and Darren are like the inverse of it. I've got like the 100%. I'm sat on 98.3% completion, and I've got to get all the animals.
Yeah.
Darren had to go back and replay the story and get enough gold missions.
Yeah.
2 real time sinks trophies, but just different ends of the spectrum. And then we've had to do online trophies. So we have been spending a lot of time just going around. At the moment, I'm busy trying to capture every horse just to break them. I'm missing 2 fucking horses.
Yeah.
It's very
I'm
frustrating.
on chapter 4 of the story to try and blitz it because I missed one mission at the very end of the game.
Yep.
Because I didn't know how that game ended.
Is it the actual end of the game or the epilogue?
Before the epilogue.
So you haven't got too far to go.
No.
That's all right. So Darren will probably get his done before me because he went crazy and decided to find every animal and do 100%
I
much
did it
before everything
randomly
else.
3 years ago. I just sat down and went, I'm going to do the animals, and did all of that. And I went, that's enough for me.
What's funny is on mine about 3 years ago is when I went, I'm going to do all the gold missions.
We were doing it at the same time, and we just dropped off.
Oh my
and I've come back 3 years later to do the other half.
It's almost like both of you are absolutely obsessive compulsive over trophies.
Correct.
And
Yep.
we didn't know this. This is a shock.
Yep,
I
that's
just
it.
want this to be my 200th platinum, so I got to get to work.
Yeah, that's it. So we're just trying to push through it. But outside of that, Darren, what have you been playing?
The main thing I've been playing is I finished and platinumed Pacific Drive.
Lovely little game.
I talked about Pacific Drive a few episodes ago, and I said I wasn't really getting on with it because it's a little bit clunky and it's a little bit sort of awkward because it's their first game. Now that I've finished it, I absolutely love Pacific Drive for that exact reason, because this game, like no other, captures the atmosphere it's trying to create, which is the atmosphere of a driver on a backcountry lane on nearly empty petrol and their car keeps making weird noises. I spend that entire game halfway between anxious and fucking furious. And the way it just creates that is everything is very annoying.
Oh,
and it's designed to be very annoying.
So I've started it now.
Yeah.
I got in. I've managed to make it to the garage. I've set my car up as if I'm now going out on my first adventure. And I'm very worried to do so because it was a tough fucking travel get into there. And I was like, I fixed my car. By the time I got there, I'd already blown a tyre. I'm like, what the hell have I done? It wasn't even blown. I think my wheel had fallen off or something like that.
Have you encountered quirks yet?
Are they when the world is slightly off and the stuff?
Quirks are a thing that happens with your car.
Right.
So there's a little station for you to diagnose quirks, but it's basically like when car component A does this, car component B does this.
No, I've not come across
and
these
they pop up randomly, and they are just shit you have to work out, and then you can fix them. Some of them are very fun.
Right.
I had one about halfway through the game that when you honk your horn, the car goes faster. So at one point...
Oh my god, sorry! I just imagined how much fun I would have with that if that was real.
So at one point, I needed to get out quickly because, you need to get into these, I can't think what they're fucking called, the big beams of light to escape it. Yeah. And I was going too slowly and it was catching up on me, so I just laid on the fucking horn. Go!
That would be me in real life down the M4,
And those ones are great fun. There's one I got 3 separate times, which is when you put your handbrake on, the boot opens.
Nice.
And that's annoying when you forget about it.
Because things fall out.
Yeah. But or if you hit it slightly, the boot door just come off.
Oh no!
Right.
Listen. Every time you talking about this, and I'm just trying to see, if it was in my work commute, and I was trying to go up Kimler Hill in Neath and putting my handbrake on and having every fucking thing fall out on Kimler Hill. Fuck it.
It's like the feeling of I'm driving down a hill. I have a quirk that when the windscreen wipers go left, a door opens. The windscreen wiper goes left, the door opens. I crack the door on a rock. I have to put the handbrake on. I'm fucking swearing, walking back up the hill to pick up my door. You fucking piece of shit car.
You put the door back on, you haven't realised you put the handbrake on, so your boot's now opened.
Yep. I hit the pedal. Of course, my handbrake's on. There's a trophy for doing that 20 times, and I got it in the first 2 hours of the game. Because every time I put it on, I go, fuck. But it so perfectly captures that vibe. I don't think I've played a game that captures its intended vibe better, of being fucking horrified and simultaneously fucking irritated by your car.
There's a point where you're willing to just kill me, just let me die. It's not worth it.
I got so attached to the fucking car, I took a picture of it before I finished the game. But the very last thing you do in that game is you have to drive uphill as shit is collapsing around you. And I was going, come on, car, come on. Nearly out of petrol, half the wheels are trashed. I'm like, come on, fucking fix it up.
You in your fucking PS app in the photos looking at this car I will remember.
It's literally, I parked it up, I took a few steps back, framed it nicely, took a picture, I'm like, cool.
That's it. That's beautiful.
But it's It's great. It's kind of annoying, kind of clunky in places, but that's exactly what it wants to be.
I'm really excited to start it. It's something I'm ready to give a good bit of time to once I get rid of fucking Red Dead.
Yeah.
That's my plan.
Also, its difficulty balancing is completely fucked, but that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We can do. Talking about that, Elden Ring.
Yep.
The DLC just dropped to that. People are going mental because the DLC is really hard, and I'm like, good. I'm glad it's really hard. But I've just started playing that again from the beginning. Obviously, been on stream, but
great game.
It's good fun, and there are a lot of people who crap on it for no real good reason, because it's too easy. I'm like, well, it's the perfect entry point. So if you've ever thought about doing a Souls game, it's the game to try it on, and now might be the right time to jump in because there is so much there.
I had the Red Dead problem again, where I was sat in a fucking hotel room in Paddington in London, and I was watching your stream like, fuck, I'm going to play Elden Ring again.
Yep.
Fuck.
There's something about it.
I don't have time for this, but I am going to play Elden Ring again.
And there are no trophies because we both have the platinum, so we don't have to worry about
the DLC
it.
doesn't have any trophies.
We can just have a lovely
We
time.
can just play the game.
But the game I've been playing a bit of is I got invited to the open beta for Valorant for consoles.
fucking fancy, man.
I've sent you a link so you can download it as well.
But I didn't get it. I'm not a big fucking fancy man.
Did you apply for it?
No.
Then it's your own fault.
I'm not fancy enough.
But so Valorant, a game I thought was going to be an Overwatch clone that was everyone loves, but turns out to be a CS:GO clone is how I would describe it. But with like character abilities. A lot of fun, a lot longer games than I thought they would be. I didn't realise that if you play on the standard mode, so it's 5v5, and then obviously you're taking an item to deploy it in an area. If it explodes, you win. Or if you're defending, you're stopping people get there. Or if you kill the other team, you win because they're dead, etc.
It's search and destroy.
It's search and destroy.
Yeah.
That is the main concept of the game, but it's first to 13 wins.
Hell yeah.
Which is a long old time. There is a shorter one, which is first to 5. There's also a team deathmatch version in there as well. But it's a lot of fun. I think it's a game that really works when you've got multiple people playing and talking to each other. But what's nice is even if you aren't talking to each other, which no one I was playing with was on mic or anything like that, which is fine. The characters in the game go, there's movement on 4, there's movement on A, there's movement, like you can see where it is and you can see on your map people dropping, so there's an X there, or there's a question mark, someone had been seen here. So it's nice, it works. I'm excited to play a bit more of it with some people and see if that works. But it isn't the Overwatch replacement that I thought it was going to be. That's probably going to be Concord.
The only concern I have about this game is that it sounds a lot like Rainbow Six Siege.
I
A
didn't
game
like...
that was very nice at first, but now has the most vicious fucking community.
Yeah.
Because there is a correct way to play it, and if you don't play it, people will yell at you.
I don't
And I'm worried this will be the
I
same.
feel like this could be, but I think also if you've got a nice group of 4 or 5 people, realistically it's 5 in a group. If you've got 3 to 5, I reckon you're fine because you can just, sounds awful, mute the other 2 and just have a nice day. And that's the way I'm looking at it. So I fuck everyone else.
Yeah. It's like playing Hell Let Loose as a healer, and then some random screams at you, and you're like, I'm just playing the game, mate.
I'm just enjoying the game. Just enjoying myself.
playing, mate.
Fuck off. So that's what we've been playing. Should we have a little look at the PS Plus library this month? First question, good or bad?
I sent a message into our chat that this is the most disgusting Darren month that has ever been released.
I mean, you sent me the list of everything that was on there because you were like, here's the comprehensive list of it, and my one word was just Jesus.
I think it's... I could see the appeal of quite a few games, but if you don't like a strategy game, this ain't anything for you. There's nothing here.
Like before, this is a disgusting month for PS Plus and also one of the easiest rankings I ever made.
Don't get me wrong, there are games in there that I'm like, oh, I've thought about that, but I know for a fact they're going to handle like absolute garbage on a console. So it's very hard for me to say this is a good month. I think it's a bad month all in all.
I don't think it's a great month, no. I think there's some very good games there, but I'm not, as you say, it's games that probably aren't well suited to the PlayStation, and also some weird shit in there.
Yeah, I just
But as
don't...
I say, it's a Darren month, so I'm happy.
It looks like it's going to be fun. There's going to be games in there that I'm probably going to have a bit of a play with, enjoy myself, but I'm not going to overly commit myself to anything this month. So, which games are you championing? We'll start with Darren, as he's enjoyed this month.
Hi.
What game are you championing?
As much as I would love to say Monster Hunter Rise, because I will play it for the rest of my fucking life, I haven't played it yet, so I can't really say anything about it. So I will say Anno 1800, which is Colonial Simulator.
Yep.
It is a city builder that is also a Civ game. It is disgustingly in depth. The level of interaction you can have with that game is insane. Like when I placed the zoo item, expecting it to be a zoo, and the game went, no, motherfucker, you now have to go on expeditions to capture animals to put in your zoo.
I mean, it's not wrong. You made a zoo, just it was empty.
I did make an empty zoo. I opened it and went, can I put this animal? And I went, no. I went, why no? I googled it and it's like, oh yeah, you go and capture that animal. I'm like, are you fucking joking? Every time you do anything in that game, it opens up 3 extra levels of complexity you didn't know existed. It is one of the most intimidating games I've ever played, that also, after a few hours, I was so disgustingly entrenched in it. I was having the best time fighting pirates, protecting my little charter ships, because I have to get materials from the new world, ship them back so my old world people can make coats out of them to send back to the new world because they want the coats.
Honestly, this is one of the games I was like, I'm excited. I've wanted to play this. It looks good, but I know it's going to be horrible on console.
The thing is, I can picture this running okay on console.
But it's the same thing. Same feeling I had towards Crusader Kings 3 on this as well. I thought it was like, it looks like a game I wanted to play, but it's going to run like garbage.
I think Crusader Kings will control much worse. This is very grid-based, which means I think it'll be fine.
That's cool.
It's like you draw paths in straight lines along the grid, and then you place things along the paths.
Perfect.
So I think it should work okay in like...
Oh, let's put it this way. I'm going to give it a go, and I'm going to hate myself for giving it a go.
I might give it a go. I'll look at the trophies and see if I want to play it on there as well.
Oh, you have 2 games going at once, so you can see which is better. Which was a better Darren?
Yeah.
Cerys, what did you go for?
I'm going to keep this really short and sweet. I really struggled to make a top 7 for this.
You are not the target audience of a Darren month.
But I did pick GTA 4.
It's GTA San Andreas.
I was going to say technically 4, but it's technically 5, isn't it?
It is technically 5, yeah. I always think it's 4. I don't know why.
I forgot about Vice City.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then 4 is 6.
Yeah.
Or 7.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then 5 is 8, and then 6 doesn't exist.
The problem is numbers fuck with my head anyway, so I don't know. But it's San Andreas.
Stalker 2 is the 4th game.
This is the GTA San Andreas Definitive Edition, which was poorly received because the Definitive Edition was a bit of a mess, but forget that.
It's still fucking San Andreas, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't have a lot of experience with this game. It's mostly like, when you're like fucking about in your teens and early 20s, and really the only thing that you want to do is like pick up prostitutes and like
and then go home and play GTA.
I particularly like my mate Grace said she spent the most time she's spent on games is on GTA, and I said, oh, what did you do? Did you like fuck shit up? And she was like, no, I drove the speed limit and listened to the radio the entire time.
You do sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, the radio is pretty solid in San Andreas. I'd be interested to see what music made it back to this, because they do change quite a few of them.
The Western radio channel in San Andreas is the greatest radio channel.
I always like the talk shows. Those are my things, talk shows in there. But yeah, San Andreas, I always thought was like, a lot of people say it was heralded as like their favourite GTA game. I think mine was still Vice City.
It's another game I played 80% of and never finished.
Oh, that sounds about right.
It's one of those ones that like...
Is it because you couldn't get past the train mission?
I got past the train mission.
Right, okay.
I got to flying missions in the desert, and I was like 12. I couldn't fucking do it.
I think it's just one of those ones that I like, the memories I have associated with it are just like hanging out with your friends and fucking shit up. So it's not even that I can say like, oh, it's a good game or whatever. I think I picked it because I think everyone has those like associated like things.
Everyone has a GTA memory.
Don't get me wrong, the remasters, the Definitive Edition is janky as fuck, but I think you'll still have a good time in it.
That's the thing.
That's it.
I think it's one of those games where it's like, even if you're not in the mood to play it, like you'll end up having a good time with it.
Yeah.
So it's not.
You can just fuck around in the world a bit.
Yeah.
Like a Red Dead, funnily enough.
Yeah,
it's a Rockstar
almost like
game,
a Rockstar game. Yeah. So what have I gone for? I am championing Streets of Rage 4.
Nice.
The only worthwhile game from the Essential Collection. I would say that. I don't think AEW's Fighter. It's the wrong wrestling game they put on there, and also, if we're being honest, the SpongeBob game looks crap.
I think it's worthwhile.
Well, the SpongeBob game?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I've heard pretty good things about it.
I love SpongeBob. I'd give it a go.
They're all like real mid-tier platformers.
Yeah. I mean, I've played one of them and I didn't enjoy it that much.
That's
I've never played a SpongeBob game. I'm just a big SpongeBob fan.
Anyone I hear talk about them seems to like them.
Okay.
But we aren't talking about SpongeBob. We're talking about Streets of Rage 4.
Angry Streets, the fourth
Which is basically, it's a 4-player co-op, which would be lots of, it is local co-op, it is online co-op, and it's that classic side-scroll and beat 'em up, make it through level on level with fucking amazing music. So good music. It's retro 80s style fight. It's seeped in like nostalgia of like when I had the Mega Drive and stuff like that, and it just really works for me. And I think it's one of those games that you could just switch on with a bunch of friends and have a great evening with, and that's the way I look at it.
Do you know what SpongeBob has in it.
Oh,
What?
good God.
Shrimps.
Does it have shrimps?
Yeah.
That's nice.
That is nice.
That's
You know
nice.
what? I know a shrimp.
Do you?
I know
No,
a
you
shrimp.
don't know a
I
shrimp.
know a shrimp whose sister had a baby.
Do you?
And then it lost its arms and legs.
Oh no, that's terrible.
And he took it in after the sister passed away.
that's so nice
and now
of
the
him.
shrimp is fairly happy.
This is a
But-
really good callback to something that is not in the episode.
No.
I really enjoy it.
That is a callback to our sound check, ladies and gentlemen.
It was for me and Darren, and if you don't want me and Darren to have quality time, well, that's up to you.
Okay, I don't want you to have quality time.
I'm afraid you don't have a choice.
But that's Streets of Rage. I think Streets of Rage 4 is a really good one to go into. It's like that Scott Pilgrim. It's like that Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah.
It's got the vibes of the new Power Rangers game that's coming. This all seems to be coming back, and it's a good one to get yourself into.
One of the most visceral reactions of I've heard good things about this game.
Yeah.
I saw it, I'm like, fuck, I gotta give that a go.
Honestly, it's one of those games that, again, a lot of trophies. I think it pots for both people playing, so it wouldn't be a shock me that me and Darren end up spending a lot of time online trying
Unlike
to push our
Stardew
way
Valley.
through. Yes,
Shit
unlike that. So let's have a little look at our top 5
Hell
games.
yeah.
So coming in at number 5 is Far Cry 4,
It's a pretty good game.
which I think is my least favourite of the new Far Cry games.
I like it slightly more than Primal, I think.
I think I like Primal a touch more than this, but it's
I think
much of
we
a
talked
muchness.
about that, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we talked about it previously, but Far Cry 4
It's
is
still good.
It's still a good,
The
fun
worst
game.
Far Cry game is still a good game.
It's exactly what you expect it to be.
Yeah.
It's got a fun villain in this, and also if you don't move at the very beginning, you will lose. There's a point where you're strapped to a chair, and if you just sit in the room and wait for him to come back, he comes back and kills you.
Oh,
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I can't remember how it
He comes
works.
back and you win the game,
Oh
basically.
yeah, you win the game. He just
oh
lets
my
you
god!
off.
You
I love
avoid
that.
the entire game.
This happens. No, it doesn't. I don't
there's,
know.
there's a bunch of openings to different Far Cries where if you don't do anything in the beginning,
Yeah. To be fair, Josh is probably just happy, like, he doesn't like Far Cry 4, and if you don't do anything, you can beat the game in 10 minutes.
I literally bought the special edition of this. I
Yeah.
have a statue of.
If you watch our
Hanging
older
over
YouTube
it.
episodes, I believe it's in the background.
It's a fucking mess of me taking that. But oh well. That was number 5. Number 4 is Anno 1800,
Great game.
which Darren's already talked
Not
about.
a Keras game, but great game.
Number 3 is Streets of Rage 4.
Hell yeah.
Number 2, GTA San Andreas.
Yeah.
And number 1 is Monster Hunter
Monster
Rise.
Hunter!
Which Darren's already mentioned, but it's Monster Hunter.
Really looking forward to giving it a go. It's apparently a bit faster paced than World.
Oh, that's good.
And I really did like World, but it does feel a bit heavy at times, so I'm interested to see
I remember
how this changes.
I bought World on release. It took so long to download. By the time it downloaded, I'd eaten an entire curry and I felt very full and went to sleep instead. And that's about as much of the game I played.
I loved World. I love every Monster Hunter I played. This was like a Switch one at first, so they can got poured over. I'm really
Okay.
excited to give it a go.
I'm looking forward to giving it a go because I don't think I've given them enough of a shake.
Maybe we'll co-op it.
Maybe
Great.
so. And that's it. That's what we got to discuss this month. Before we move on, is there anything you're looking forward to coming out next month? I think next month's a little weak on games, but I'm sure Darren's excited for Frostpunk 2.
I am excited for Frostpunk 2. Also, that Luigi's Mansion 2 on the Switch looks cool.
It does if it comes out next month.
Yeah, I think it's meant to be next month.
And there's also EA College Football 25 next month as well.
What's that next month?
That's next
Hell
month.
Yeah.
So there's a few things, but there's nothing big. I think we're starting to see a bit more in August, September. That's when things
This
are
is
quiet
a
month.
game catch-up month. This is a finish Red Dead 2 month.
This is get ahead of ourselves and ready for the next
Yeah.
one. But that's everything. So thank you everyone for coming along for another episode. Do check us out on our socials at Discount Pod. That's on Instagram. We do have our individual ones at Discount Darren, Discount Keras, and Discount Josh, all with 2 C's, apart from Keras with 3.
Yeah.
But not all together.
Nope.
And
Because that's not confusing at all.
we do also stream on Twitch 3 times a week, sometimes more, where we stream all the episode games to talk about in the other podcast episode we do each month. We stream all of those, and we also stream all of the Souls games, all of the Kingdom Hearts games, and sometimes the Resident Evil games. So those.
I should be streaming more consistently now that I don't have to work all the time.
Yeah.
So we'll actually get Resi 2 done, which will be
Yeah.
good stuff.
We'll get on to our 3s.
Woo!
I've gone past. I'm on Elden Ring now. I've skipped 3. I'll go back to it. But that's everything. Thank you so much for coming along. But if you want a longer version, if you're listening to this on wherever you get your podcasts, check us out on YouTube. Where this
If you're listening to the long version, I'm really sorry about some of the jokes that I've made today.
No, we're not. We never apologise for anything.
No.
Because
We are who we are.
This is Pride Month.
Yes.
Thank you for being our Player 4s. We'll catch you all next time.
Yeah, bye. I don't know what to say.
Oh my god, that was good.